Efrain, you come out here, man, and I'll do the best I can to get you in the film.
All right.
And this is recorded, David.
Wait a second. Non-pornographic, right?
Oh, man.
This is Victoria and Sunny with the Ef'n Sunny Show, and we have a very special guest, Dave Silva. Hi, Dave.
Hi.
Dave.
Go ahead, Victoria. You go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, go for it. I know you're dying to.
I was just going to tell Dave that it's called the Ef'n Sunny Show, and he's probably wondering why is Victoria here and not F, and because F works really hard on this show, and us to do the interview this time around. Dave, so if you're seeing Victoria here, I wanted to call it the Victoria and Sunny Show, but Ef'n didn't allow that. So
see, they only say that when we have special guests because they don't want it to look like they're anti-feminists or they're trying to have this show set back in the 50s. But we know what the truth is, Dave. We know what the truth is.
Well, they're being politically correct, right?
We're trying to. Not getting all the way there. So Dave, you're originally from the Rio Grande Valley, and is that correct?
No, I'm from Mission.
Yeah, from Mission, Texas. Awesome. I live in Mission. Yeah. And you're an actor, and among other things, producer, screenwriter. Did I get all of those correct?
Yeah, director, screenwriter. Yeah, I run the gamut of this film and TV industry out here, and I've been doing it for over 30 years.
Yeah, his internet lasts for like 5 minutes and then it goes out.
You just gotta do things in quick 5-minute bursts. Sunny, you know what that's about.
We're on the air, dude. We're live.
Yeah, it's recording.
No, it's gonna get edited out.
Is it though?
So where were we? We were talking about how...
I think Dave was telling us that he got invited to...
1979 was the year you did it.
Right. And my childhood friend, livelihood friend, Trinidad Silva, who's an actor, invited me and kind of showed me the ropes in the industry. I kind of started as a producer and a director for theater mostly. And then late 80s, early 90s, I started acting. And it's a tough business. If I had a kid, I don't have children, but if I had a kid, I wouldn't recommend the acting profession because there's a lot of competition, and if you're a Latino, a woman, and ethnic, it's triple difficult.
Obviously, 1979 had to be really hard for a Latino trying to break into the Hollywood business or into the acting business. Is it still that way in 2020, or has it lightened up a little bit?
I hate to say that it's no better. It might be a little worse. When I got here, there was a Latino clica, a group of Latino actors that all got together with Nosotros, a group that was founded by Ricardo Montalban. And we all kind of fed of each other, We all help each other. I did a thing last couple of years with Quentin Tarantino. It's called Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and my scenes were with Leonardo DiCaprio and James Remar. I don't know if you know who James Remar is, but he played the father of Dexter in the series Dexter.
Yep.
He would come in and out. And we did this great scene. I was the cantina bartender, and Leo comes in and they get into a card game, and then they get into a fight, and we're all involved in, all this film. It took about 3 days to shoot. Unfortunately, Quentin cut it. He didn't make the final edit. But he says that next year he's going to release the 4-hour film, which originally was, and cut it up into episodes and put it on Netflix. So hopefully they'll show that.
Cool.
That would be awesome.
Yeah. The bartender was more comical than anything else, so I brought some humanity to him, and I think it worked. The guys liked it, so yeah.
You talked about, I guess, the influence of maybe growing up in the Rio Grande Valley and in your previous role. What was it like growing up in the Valley when you grew up here? Between what ages were you living here?
Oh, I grew up there since I was born in Mission in a house. I wasn't born in a hospital. And the great thing about Trinidad and myself, we became friends because he moved next door to us on Doherty Street in Mission, and he lived the house over, and across the street was the Rio Theater, which is the Mexican theater. Mm-hmm. Half a block away on Conway Avenue was the Rex Theater, another Mexican theater. So Trinidad and I and my brother would spend endless hours at these movie theaters watching the golden cinema of Mexico. I mean, I can name you all kinds of actors from that era that became subconsciously role models from comedy, like Tintan and Trinidad took the name Tintin, and there was another comic named Borolas, and they gave it to me, and Antonio Aguilar, Luis Aguilar, you name it, Vicente Fernandez. So we were influenced by the Mexican cinema, not so much the American cinema, because the border and the Mission theaters on the north side of Mission were a little more expensive and we couldn't afford it. So therefore we spent endless hours mimicking, after we saw the films, these characters. So that played into our DNA, so to speak. So when we grew up, we always had it in the back of our mind. Trini acted on it. I got a degree from Pan American and was in business for a while. I was a teacher in East LA, elementary school teacher when I first came out, because I'm not I don't believe in that starving artist attitude like Trinidad did. But eventually we got together, formed a little company, and started producing, commercials and theater and industrials and educational stuff. We tried to do the movie of we got the rights to the Freddy Gonzalez Story.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I met Dolia, and we worked on a script. We found the founder, a guy that was going to bankroll the film. All he wanted was a lead actor to be his friend. They were Filipinos, but this lead actor looked Latino, so we had no problem with it. Mm-hmm. So we got all that ready, and we took it back to Dolia. She said, unfortunately, she had sold the rights to somebody else.
Oh no!
Yeah, which was the guy that represented Kika de la Garza. He was his right-hand man, Sol Moroquin, and he said we tried to work with him, but he said he had money from a Louisiana guy to make 2 films. So they went with him, So.
And for our listeners who are maybe not familiar with Freddie Gonzalez, can you give just a brief synopsis of who that is?
He was a Vietnam War veteran who was awarded the Medal of Honor posthumously, and he's a hero. I mean, there's a street named in Edinburgh, Freddy Gonzalez Drive, and interestingly, there is a ship, a Navy ship named for him.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
It got commissioned in 1996 or 97. I'm not sure. Dolia invited me to the commissioning, and I gotta say, I was thoroughly impressed, because all the pomp and circumstance that goes into commissioning a destroyer, my wife and I are saying, wow, we still can't forget that. It was amazing.
Do you know what's happening with that movie now? Have you kept up with it, or?
Unfortunately, Dolia has gotten questionable advice, and there have been a lot of fly-by-night producers that come by and promise her that they'll do it after Mr. Marroquin couldn't get it done. But they raise the money and then they disappear, And all she wants is to see that happen before she dies, and I guess she's almost 90 now, if not over that. So it's looking bleak, because a war picture from the Vietnam era with a Latino lead is not something that people want to invest in. At least in the last 20 years that I've known of this script. But hopefully it'll get made soon. Sooner rather than later.
That's really cool, and I hope that somehow someone is able to pick it up. But unfortunately, I think you're right. It sounds like nobody wants to invest in a movie with a Latino lead, even if it is a great story like Freddy Gonzalez's story. But then you do have actors like Michael Pena, right?
Right.
Yeah, he's out there. He seems to be getting parts that aren't just for Latino or aren't, I guess, written for Latinos. But he's really the only one, aside from Jennifer Lopez, right? Really the only one that I can think of off the top of my head, or Benicio del Toro, but he also does mostly Latino written type scripts,
right,
or parts.
Right. Michael Pena he's mainstream. He gets good roles, and I applaud him for him. But like you say, he's one of the rare Latinos that can actually get those kind of roles. And the thing is, he's been in very successful movies, which leads for him to be in another successful movie that he can pick the people behind him, his managers, his agents, whatever. They're leading him, and he's playing the role of, hey, let's not jump into a role just because it's money. He's a well-known commodity, and he's doing great work, and so is Oscar Isaac. He's I think we're from Guatemala, and he just got cast in some huge Marvel thing. Moon Knight, I think, is the name of the project. Because he doesn't look like your typical Latino, he changed his name. His name was Oscar Isaac Martinez. And he moved.
Sounds like somebody I went to high school with.
There you go. But he's from Central America and moved to the Miami area when he was a young man. So that's where he got his start. Now he's been in Star Wars. He's done a bunch of films that he's not a Latino, and that goes back to the power that his agency and his representation have when they decide what he does next.
Right.
Do you feel like that makes a difference, the fact that he doesn't necessarily look like a typical Latino, or he changed his name? Do you think that really, or again, maybe is it just luck? He gets into the right room with the right people who are like, well, we don't really care. We're not going to, just keep him in this particular bracket of roles.
Let's face the elephant in the room. He doesn't look Latino. That's a plus. Because if he looked like me, he wouldn't get offered those roles. If you go in and you're a brown man and you don't have a lot of experience, they're going to offer you the bottom of the casting list. The one where the casting director chooses. He doesn't even talk to the producers. That's how far down. Now, he's very talented. You can never discount talent. He's a very talented man, and more power to him. But yes, he's got the right look. He's had a good amount of luck, and he's got super talent, and I applaud him. More power to him, and he understands what the Latinos go through. I've heard him talk at length about the problem that Latinos face in Hollywood, and he's aware of it, and he knows. He himself says that he's been very lucky, and he tries to help in however way he can. But until he is a Hollywood head of a studio, until then, it'll be very difficult to get Latinos or to get Hollywood studios to bankroll a Latino lead.
Dave, what advice would you give someone from the Rio Grande Valley, say a young person who's getting out of high school and wants to try to break into Hollywood? You've done it. You've gone that route. You've written. You've produced. What advice would you give to young people here who are aspiring actors or writers or producers?
I get that all the time, and what I say is, when I first landed in Hollywood, I didn't have the access to the people that matter like they do today. You know,
What do you mean by they do today, Dave?
Well, technology has provided a pathway for aspiring actors that we didn't have back in the day, back in the 70s and the 80s. Now you can film your own short film, present yourself, your acting talent. You can do a scene, a monologue, whatever, and shop it around. Excuse me. Shop it around to talent agencies, to see if they can take you on as a client. What I would suggest is that if a lot of people don't know they want to be actors when they're in high school, but the people that do know, they take classes, they take their drama classes, theater classes, and that helps them. Now, when you get to Hollywood, you need to hook up. You need to hook up with the social groups that are promoting Latinos in film, and it's all around. So you can go with Nosotros. Nosotros has been revived. It's run by young people nowadays. It went out of business for, I don't know, about 5 or 6 years, but it's back and it's stronger. It's as strong as ever. And you need to connect with them. You need to connect with other actors, not necessarily Latinos, but the gamut. You need to take acting classes. A lot of people say, "Oh, I already know how to act." Well, yeah, but you're not there yet because nobody has told you, "Hey, I'm going to hire you." People need to see if you don't have a demo reel from acting, you can actually go to a class and act out a scene and then put it as your demo reel, and that'll be a start. You need to, badger the talent agencies to take you on. See, you're not going to work unless you have an agent. At least you're not going to get paid the amount that most actors need to live on. And you can't become a part of the union until you've worked. So it's a catch-22, So I would encourage them to, if they're going to do this, they got to believe in the craft. They got to believe in acting. They can't just say, "Well, I want to be a movie star." Well, who doesn't, right? They got to believe in their heart that they invested for a few years at least 5 or 6 years, and then maybe you can decide whether you should continue it. But the tools nowadays are out there for young actors arriving in Hollywood to at least, get themselves a demo reel, put themselves in front of casting agents, do theater, do non-paying theaters, or non-equity theater, because you want to work, you want to hone your craft. A plumber, unless he fixes pipe, he won't work. Because you get more experience, you get to know other people, you branch out in the acting social circle. So it's difficult, but that's what you have to do. And if you have a little luck on your side, perseverance, determination, well, you never know. You never know.
How much do you miss the food from the Valley?
I go to the Valley once a year.
That's great.
Yeah, I still have family in the Valley. I have a brother in Mission and a younger sister in McAllen. In fact, my younger sister works at the HEB on Trenton. There in McAllen.
Yeah. Everybody calls that the Gucci Bee. It's a fancy HEB.
Exactly. She lets me know that. Yeah. Anyway, if you go in there, just ask for Linda Gonzalez and tell her I say hi. Taco, the one that was on.
Palenque?
No, not Taco Palenque. This is a sit-down restaurant where, that is too, but where
now it is.
South 10th, where the old Anthony's was, across the street from the.
Oh, you're talking about Casa del Taco.
Casa del Taco, yeah.
That's an old gem.
I also talk to guys from Mission that are out here, whenever we have a chance to run into each other, especially at auditions. I run in because some of these guys are the same age I am or close to it. So I run into them, and there's an old joke that we tell each other that when we go to these certain auditions, usually the same guys, right? So we tell each other, maybe we should form a carpool. That way we can save on money. It's always the same guy showing up, Yeah, but David Barrera, he's from Alamo, I think. Well-known actor. Pete Leal, he just retired. He was out here a long time. He's in the Dallas area now. So, yeah, and of course, Katherine Hardwick from Mission. I auditioned for her for a film she did many years ago called
Twilight?
The Lords of Dogtown. One of her first films.
Oh, yeah.
I auditioned for her, but I didn't know how to skate, so I didn't get the role.
We had her on the show actually. We talked about Lords of Dogtown. It was a good interview. It was fun.
Yeah, I saw that show. Yeah, and I saw the show you did with my buddy Merced Solis, Tito Santana.
To us, please, and we'd love to have you in the studio so we can talk face to face and keep talking about acting, and maybe you can find a part for written for a young, pretty lawyer who
Efrain.
who's or defending her client.
You know what?
Yeah.
If she can play a chola, we'll consider her.
She can do that too.
Dave, let me take these earrings off. I will show you how hood I can get. I went to Lincoln Middle School in McAllen.
All right, okay. We'll add a couple of teardrops down your cheeks there. Yeah, I am glad you guys have me on, and I really enjoyed myself. I want to do this again, and hopefully she'll be there. And it just. I like you guys, but she's nice to look at. So let's hope she'll be there next time I'm there.
She will. She's not going anywhere.
I will.
Unless she moves. There's talk of her practicing law elsewhere because she can't run with the big dogs. But okay.